Airbag warning light staying on a SKODA FABIA Mark 1 99 to 2007. As you can see, the airbag warning light comes on, then briefly goes out when it does its checks, and then comes back again. So there's a fault there. So I ran my diagnostics on it, which came up with a number of faults. But importantly, on the airbag, we've got B00588, driver's airbag igniter resistance too high, which is likely to be a bad connection or a broken wire, or the squib itself is faulty, which is the clock spring behind the steering wheel, which is just the rotating connection between the steering wheel airbag and the column. And as it's a moving part, it could be a problem. So we'll take the steering wheel off and have a look at it. I've done a detailed video on how to take the steering wheel off, and I'll leave a link in the description. But I'll briefly go through it here. So turn the engine 90 degrees, then turn the engine off. Disconnect the battery, earth lead, locate the hole behind the steering wheel and stick a small flat-bladed screwdriver in it. Angle it towards the top and then pull down to release the airbag release catch. You'll see the airbag coming out a little bit. Then turn the wheel 180 degrees the other way and do the same on the other side. Then the airbag's released. Then turn the wheel so it's level. Then carefully lift off the airbag and turn it to one side and prise off the yellow clip on the back of the airbag, which is a firm fit but quite delicate, so be careful. With the clip removed, then place the airbag to one side, facing upwards. You're probably better off putting it on the footwell than on the chair like I've done. Might knock it off. I'll have to be extra careful. Right, I'll just have a look at these connections. The one fitting into the steering wheel, your thumb and forefinger at one side and it'll pull out. They seem all okay actually. Now we need to take the steering wheel bolt off, which is an M12 12-pointed star bolt held on by 50 Newton meters, which is a limited use bolt, renewable after 5 times. Before you take the steering wheel off, it's important that you've marked it on the spline so the marks line up. Then just pull the wheel off. Here's the clock spring arrangement. But to take that off, we need to take these covers off. Slacken off the adjuster and pull the steering column out and down. Take out the ones holding the top cover on first. The top cover simply lifts off, and a 4mm Allen key bolt underneath. Then take out the remaining small machine screws at the front. If you can, use a magnetic screwdriver for this, as they're quite hard to get out without. Be careful you don't drop them and lose them, they're quite small. Lift the cover away from the ignition barrel, ease it down, then lift the front up slightly to get it over the column adjuster. To take off the clock spring or the squib, there's 3 clips, there's 2 at the top. And 1 at the bottom, about 20 to 12. You just detach those and then it lifts off. Here's the 3 clips. They're just like prongs or hooks, and they locate onto these positions. The connector you just push in with your thumb and forefinger. It's quite hard, this one, to pull off. Here's the connector and the little locating clips. So this is the clock spring. It's got a little locating window. And a little spring lock, which enables it to turn when you've got the wheel attached. Make sure you don't do a full 360 turn, as the ribbon cable which is inside will be out of balance. I'll have to take one of these apart in another video sometime. Anyway, for now I'm just going to spray the contacts with contact cleaner. Give them a good dousing. Let them dry, and then I'll put it all back together. Clean the contacts on the steering wheel as well. Now you can simply just replace the clock spring, which is fairly cheap, which if this doesn't work, then that's what I'll do next. But this is always worth a try, as the car's been stood quite a while in damp weather, which always affects contacts. You can always test the clock spring with a multimeter for both continuity and resistance, which is a little bit of a fiddle. And you've got to get the pins in the correct order. So there's continuity there. I'll test it for the resistance value. I'll just take that reading. Got about 0.6, 0.5 ohms. So you should get that on each pin. If you haven't got continuity, then there's a fault. Or if you've got higher than expected resistance, then you've got another fault. Mine's all okay, so I'll put that back on now. Just align the pegs and gently click each clip into place. Leave the connector in the 12 o'clock vertical position. Here's the lower steering column shroud cover panel, which you want to be fitting first. And don't forget the rubber key shroud. Wiggle that into position and replace the screws. I put the little machine screws in first, but don't forget the 4mm Allen key, which is quite important. Being careful not to cross thread it on the aluminium steering column. The top cover simply drops down and laps into the bottom cover. Make sure you align the screws and don't over tighten it. And make sure you don't lose the screws while you're doing it, like I did. I was in such a rush, one fell out of my screwdriver and fell down the side of the seat. It's just here, down there. I'm going to have to retrieve that now. Bugger. But don't worry, I've got my trusty retrieval tool. Just like being at the fairground, this. Now that's together, I just need to put the steering wheel on now. Align the steering wheel mark with the mark on the splines on the steering column. And slot the wheel on. Put some thread lock on the bolt. And tighten down to the correct torque, which in this case is 50 Newton meters. As the bolt is a limited use bolt, put a mark on the head of the bolt and renew it after 5 times. Reattach the yellow connector to the clock spring inside the steering wheel. Then lift the airbag unit into position on its side as you took it off, and carefully clip in the yellow airbag connector on the back of the airbag until it clicks, like so. Then align the airbag on the springs and spigots and push home firmly till it clicks on both sides. Reattach the battery. Now I need to get the diagnostic reader and clear the fault code, which should clear if I've cleared the fault, which I'm hoping I have. Moment of truth, key in the ignition. Light, airbag light comes on. Ignore that buzzer, that's a low fuel warning. Airbag light out. Goes out. And it stays out. Yes. Cleared it. Brilliant. If yours didn't go out, then further investigation will be needed. Like renewing the clock spring and looking at the connection on the back of the airbag module, which is located in the centre underneath the HVAC system, which is need to take the centre console out to get to it. So there we have it. Fixed. Job's a good one. Uncle Bob will be proud of me. Anyway, I hope this helped you out, guys. And for me, it's one small step to getting the car back on the road. If you like the video, give us a thumbs up. It really helps out with the channel. And if you haven't already subscribed, consider subscribing. And I'll see you on the next video.